Okay, today I'm going to be talking about how I deal with anxiety. I'm going to talk about my experiences, what I've learned, some strategies, some quotes, some mindsets that I've found to help a lot, being someone that used to be very anxious. And hopefully, this video will help you if you're someone that sometimes struggles with anxiety, doesn't feel like they have great coping mechanisms. Hopefully, some of these can guide you down the right path to being more in control of that anxiety. So, yeah, I've had times where felt super anxious in my life, as everyone does. And throughout the past couple of years, I've developed some good strategies to deal with them, and I hope these will help you. And if they don't, maybe they'll inspire you to find other strategies that help you that I don't talk about. But yeah, so a couple of strategies I'm going to talk about, or like ideas. So the separation of tasks, anxiety's physiological response, being present, being input focused, and bonus tips at the end, little things. So yeah, we're going to get straight into it and talk about the separation of tasks. This is a concept that was discussed by a philosophical and psychological giant of, like, that's just like the word they use for it, called Alfred Adler. I think he was around in like the 1800s. I've actually got no clue, but around then. And there's this book called The Courage to Be Happy by some Japanese writers, I believe. And it's a really great book. And this is the biggest theme that most people get out of that book. And it's like a very prestigious book. So I hope that gives some credibility to this concept of the separation of tasks. So basically what it is everyone has their tasks, and everyone has their own tasks. You should only focus on your tasks. You should not focus on other people's tasks. When people intervene with other people's tasks, things go wrong. That's basically the concept. So say my tasks might be like, I don't know, going to school or whatever, blah, blah, blah. And then the teacher's task is to teach me. I'm not going to intrude on their task. They're not going to intrude on mine. And this really helps. If I could use an example here to phrase it a bit better, say a common experience where basically everyone felt anxious doing this, or will feel anxious doing this, is like talking to someone or asking out someone that you like. It is your task to ask them out in the best way possible, look the best before it, say the best thing, the best pickup line, whatever your go-to is, but it is not your task for them to respond. Their response is not your task. You should not focus or worry about their response. You can do your best to try and get a good response, but you can't control their response, and trying to, it's only going to cause problems. There's this quote that I really like, and it's, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't force it to drink. So basically, you can do the best you can, but you can't fully control the results. So I'd advise people to incorporate the separation of tasks and do the best to fulfill their tasks, and not, as well as doing that, not worry about things that aren't in their control. Because trying to control things that you can't control is just a recipe for disaster. There is a common misconception with this is like, so you can't like help people. But so there's an example used in the book, which is like a teacher and a student. If the student never does the work, no matter how good the teacher is, the student won't succeed. And the teacher trying to control the student and make them do the work is taking away the student's ability to like develop work ethic and develop like motivation and stuff, because that's all being done for them. So the teacher should do their best to encourage the student to learn, but ultimately it is the student's decision to engage in the learning or not. And it is not the teacher's, it's not fully in the teacher's control, but the teacher can still encourage the student. Yeah, on to my next point, anxiety's physiological response. So studies have been done which show that anxiety has the exact same physiological response as excitement. And I think this is really interesting. And because people like being excited, but people hate being anxious. But it's the exact same physical thing. And I feel like this speaks to the fact that it's almost what you decide it to be. If you decide to feel positive through this physiological response, then you won't feel as anxious. You can turn that anxiousness into excitement. Rather than being anxious that like you're going to fail a test or something, be excited that you can do your best and get the test over and done with, or something like that. And I also remember linking to this, Andrew Huberman, which has a massive podcast. I'm sure you've probably heard about him if you're watching a video by someone as small as me. But he is like a professor at Stanford University, super smart guy. And he saw this study on stress. And basically, there were two groups. One group of people was shown an informative and true video of how stress benefits people and makes them more alert and makes them succeed better, something like that. And then a different group was shown a video that was also true. Both these videos were like correct statements of how stress causes problems and all the bad things about it. And then later, when they were like testing them or whatever, the people that were told that stress is good responded better in times of stress and like used it as like a tool. And then the people that believed that stress was bad like crumbled a bit when they were stressed and didn't do as well. So I think this is very similar to anxiety, or the physiological response that is both anxiety and excitement. If you have a positive outlook on this and you accept that you're in a heightened state, but you have a positive outlook, you can turn that anxiety into excitement if you just like be positive with your mind. The next point I want to talk about is being present. If you're super anxious, you're normally, well, when you're really anxious, you're in your head a lot, you're talking to yourself, you're imagining the worst scenarios. Something I've found to help deal with this is just being present in the moment. If I'm, say, before a test and I'm anxious, rather than thinking about all the things that could go wrong, oh no, what if I fail this? What if I have to repeat the year, blah, blah, blah. That's like, it's a super uncomfortable feeling. But you can also just be present in the room, ready for the test, and be like, I'm just going to do my best and we'll see where it goes. Like, this is my goal right now. Worrying about what's going to happen in the future doesn't matter. All that matters is that I try my best right now. And if it doesn't go well, then I'll try my best next time. And it's all about being present in the moment. And if you're to be better at being present in the moment, I would recommend meditating. I'm not an expert on meditating,